Egyptian expatriates of Egypt, and I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. José Manuel Álvarez Bueno, Minister for Foreign Affairs, European Union and Cooperation of Spain.
Secretario.
Secretary General, President of the General Assembly, Prince Faisal, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Saudi Arabia, distinguished colleagues, excellencies. Palestine is an open wound for humanity, a wound inflicted by decades of suffering. The first United Nations peace mission in 1948 was specifically in Palestine. 77 years have passed since then, and today we find ourselves mired in the longest and bloodiest phase of this conflict. More than 60,000 Palestinians have lost their lives. Homes, schools, and hospitals have been reduced to rubble. Millions of Gazans have been forced into constant displacement, losing with every move the little that they manage to salvage. Their houses, hospitals, schools, and refugee shelters have been bombarded. This is a population that is dying disgracefully, starving, attacked while queuing for food, while trucks carrying international aid are blocked. There are illegal settlements that are continuing to expand across the West Bank, and also Israeli victims, 1,200 killed and 250 taken hostage by Hamas terrorism. We must always remember all of these victims. We must understand that pain doesn't distinguish between creed, ideology, or border. We don't defend sides. We defend innocent lives. We should understand that preserving peace, life, and humanity is the principle that gives meaning to this organization and the goal that should guide our decisions. Today, once again, I reaffirm Spain's unwavering commitment to the United Nations, to multilateralism, and to respect for international law. The values and institutions represented by this organization are the only bulwark against arbitrariness, imposition, and violence. And it is steadfast in this belief, and with all of the victims in our thoughts, that today we have to talk about hope. Hope because here at the United Nations we have representatives from across the world to say that peace is possible and that there are more and more of us who are working to make it a reality. It's impossible to look away now. It is no longer acceptable to hide behind silence, which always works against the victims. That is why Spain recognized the state of Palestine in May 2024 and proposed the idea of an international conference to begin laying the foundations for the two-state solution, to begin to build a future of peace for Israel and for Palestine. Today, I'd like to call on those countries that have not yet done so to join the two-state solution and to recognize the state of Palestine. This is not a decision against anyone, but rather in favor of peace, justice, and the right, exactly the same right for both the Israeli and Palestinian peoples, to a future of peace and security and to a state. The defense of life, peace, and human rights is the conviction that guides us. Hence, I demand and reiterate the demand for the release of all hostages, and I express our full solidarity with their families. Neither Hamas nor any terrorist group can have any role in the future of Palestine. Spain, therefore, stands ready to deliver all necessary humanitarian aid to Gaza in response to the starvation. We have tripled our support to the Palestinian Authority. We have taken sanctions against violent settlers and those who sabotage the two-state solution and will continue to do so. We have asked within the European Union for the suspension of the association agreement, and we have adopted an embargo on the sale of weapons to Israel. The Middle East doesn't need more weapons, it needs peace. That's why we're participating in proceedings before the International Court of Justice, and we are supporting investigations into crimes that may have been committed. We together with Palestine, promoted a resolution adopted here in June to protect the civilian population. We are demanding an immediate ceasefire, the massive entry of humanitarian aid, the release of hostages, and the reconstruction of Gaza. From the outset, we have said that overcoming this crisis calls for the two-state solution, Israel and Palestine living side by side in peace and security, with Gaza and the West Bank under a single Palestinian authority with territorial contiguity connected by a corridor with access to the sea and with East Jerusalem as their capital. We've also stated that this solution should be applied through an international conference with the participation of all states that are committed to justice and peace. In recent years, we have advanced in this direction through the Madrid Plus group, which now includes countries from all regional groups of the United Nations, providing leadership and unity. We've also worked through instruments such as the Global Alliance for the Two-State Solution. This includes more than 90 countries and organizations. This diplomatic initiative that is starting to take shape today at this conference and to make these proposals a reality means that we need to translate the beliefs that bring us together into concrete steps. Spain today wants to put forward specific proposals. Firstly, we should have a timeline that sets a deadline for Palestine to be a fully fledged member of the United Nations. Second, negotiations must have a clear objective, that is, the establishment of the State of Palestine with the parameters of United Nations resolutions and negotiations between the parties. And we suggest that the conclusions of this conference should reflect these parameters. Third, this initiative aims to ensure recognition of the State of Palestine and of Israel by those countries that have not yet done so. And we also appeal to those countries to do that. This initiative must be open to all UN members, providing a framework that gives a new meaning to these recognitions. And finally, we have to safeguard this initiative against those that wish to sabotage it. These are proposals that set a clear objective, that is to implement the two-state solution. They propose a framework of action that responds to the current reality and concrete measures that will allow us to achieve results within a time frame of no more than 15 months. Spain is working for a collective vision that will set a path towards peace in the Middle East. We are all well aware of the decades of pain that precede us. Hence why it is all the more urgent and necessary to take a decision today. Now is the time to fulfill the promise that gave meaning to this organization. It's time to unite for peace, and above all, it is time to close the wound that humanity has with Palestine and to deliver justice to the Palestinian people through peace and security to all in the Middle East.